Haiku is not a shriek, a howl, a sigh, or a yawn. Rather, it is the deep breath of life. This quote by Santoka Taneda describes the love of haikus that the poets of today feel. Today, I will be taking you on a journey through time by first looking at the history of the traditional Japanese haikus, and then the transition from the traditional to the modern structure of haikus, and then all the way up to present day by discussing the reason we are all here today. So first, to truly understand something, we must dig deep into its roots. So that's exactly what we are going to do, before we get into all the nuances and details of haikus themselves. Haikus began to be written in the 13th century, especially during the Heian period of Japanese culture. It was originally a first verse called hoku, as an opening part of a larger Chinese poem known as the renga, developed during the Renaissance-like period in Japan. The much shorter hoku broke away from the renga in the 16th century, and the poet Basho tweaked the hoku and transformed it into a separate and independent type of poetry. This poem is what is later known as the haiku. Basho is said to have focused on the feeling of lightness, or the concept of karumi, so he often became extremely lenient on syllable restrictions. Haikus are traditionally rooted in natural history and the seasons to incite a deeper connection with the nature and world around us. The original structures of the haiku were majorly predicated on maintaining or centering the focus of the poem on nature. As you all know, Tamil literature has a long history, beginning from the development of the language itself. Haikus started to become popular throughout India after Bharatiyar, a renowned Tamil poet and scholar, wrote an article about Japanese haikus and translated some into Tamil in a magazine. This laid the path for a Tamil version of the Japanese haiku. Now that we're done with that history lesson, let's get into the intricacies and details of the original and modern structures of haikus. The original haiku consisted of 3 lines, with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second line, and 5 syllables in the third line. It was intended to be simple but insightful and thought-provoking. The modern structure of haikus followed the traditional 3-line verse, but gives the poet much more freedom with the content of the poem. The syllable constraints in the original form of the Japanese haiku disappear in modern poetry, while shifting the focus towards daily life and society rather than keeping it only on nature. The Haiku Society of America's leading poets follow the guidelines for modern poetry, proving that the innovation of traditional methods can be beneficial in multiple ways. So, a verse from the freshly printed book Panayole Katradigal from Dr. Kana Kalyanasundaram: "Fallen wings, a girl tries to mend, a butterfly takes flight." This simple but thought-provoking verse begins with a description of a young girl trying to mend the wings of a butterfly. We know that this is an impossible and futile task, but the child tries anyways. Although the butterfly can never take flight again, a new type of butterfly takes flight: humanity. This is a beautiful example of the modern structure of the haiku that proves that this tradition has opened up many new doors in Tamil literature. Now, on to the reason all of us are here today. My grandfather, Dr. Kana Kalyanasundaram, is releasing 2 of his books today. The first is Panayole Katradigal, which is his 3rd book fully centered on haiku poetry, and the first Tamil haiku book released in the US. The second book released today is Muttrathu Nilavoli. This is a book of modern poetry, but it has been a long journey to a book released in Indiana. He released his first haiku book in Tamil, Manidanaya Tulligal, and soon after released the English translated version, The Smile of Humanity, in 1999. This was the first book published in both English and Tamil in India. His second book, Manasalam, won 4 awards in the literature field. He went on to write 8 more poetry books that included several anthologies. His tremendous contributions to Tamil literature earned him a litany of awards, including the Poet Mitra Haiku in 2016. Many of his literature has been translated into Japanese, French, Malayalam, Telugu, Kannada, Hindi, Urdu, and several other Arabic languages. He continues to write, and his beautiful journey continues. We wish you the best, Tata. Thank you to America Muttamil University for giving me this opportunity, and thank you to my grandfather for introducing me to this beautiful community. With that, I'm Kavina Shri Chidambaranathan, and I thank everyone for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening and the rest of the book release. Vanakkam.